childhood trauma may be the reason as to why somebody begins to act in a dysfunctional and toxic way, but it does not take away the personal responsibility of an individual for what they do. Now, I have heard this countless times, and I even used to be an advocate or maybe an enabler of this type of mentality, which is, well, you see, the reason why we have a sexy red, the reason why we have a Meg the Stallion, the reason why we have a Future, a 21 Savage, or, I am out the loop with a lot of these folks, so maybe I'm sounding like an old head, but the reason why we have artists like this, who represent debauchery, etc., is because of the white record label owners that are actually pushing this propaganda. And for a long time, I said, you know what? That's valid. I have heard about that meeting that was had, about, okay, the pipeline of prison. Let's basically own the labels as well as the, private prisons, and let's make some money with the in-between here. We can just funnel them from here to here, and we can push this type of messaging. I've heard all of that, but the thing that always gets missed out in this conversation, and I finally had to kind of fill the gap on this one, because again, I'm in a place in my life, I can't sugarcoat a damn thing no more. So here's the thing. In order for there to be a sexy red, for a label to bring on board and to sell as a product, essentially, there must first be a sexy red to put in front of people. If there is no culture that is producing a sexy red, then they cannot create a sexy red. Now, if let's say every other group of people were mass producing that sort of degenerate personality type, the major labels would gladly go to any of them. Because it doesn't matter who's going to, line their pockets or fill their prisons or whatever it may be, right? It's not going to make a difference to them. They don't care so long as they get the outcome that they want. However, the only way that they can get that is for there to be this person. Now, let me break it down just a layer deeper because, some folks might already be triggered and losing their mind. In order for that image to even work, for a sexy red to have a fan base and for that to resonate, there must already be a sexy red. There must already be an acceptance of dysfunction and of toxicity. There must be a temperament that's ready for it. And so you have to look at the culture. What are these people accepting? And when I say these people, I'm not saying black people, because there's black folk listening right now who believe that to be debauchery. And so we have to start making this divide. No people are a monolith. I don't care what ethnocentric group, even within tribes, you don't necessarily have a monolith, and you shouldn't. You should have individuals who come together collectively, right? But it should not be a monolith. Once you start having monoliths, that's when you start seeing that there is an overall, almost religious sort of dogmatic approach to a people, when everybody must think the exact same way and move the exact same way. And unfortunately, we're seeing that at scale. So you have a sexy red, because there's an environment that produces sexy red, then you can sell and market as sexy red because there is an audience who is ready to receive that and resonates with it. If there was no 304 culture, there would be no audience, no market for sexy red. I promise you that. If there was no audience for degeneracy, there would be no what do you have? Future's the only one I can think of right now. I guess he's like the godfather of, he calls himself the toxic king, or maybe they call him that. I don't know. But if there was no market for that, then that would not resonate. And so we have given ourselves over. We have allowed ourselves to create, or at least to promote and to perpetuate. Maybe it wasn't the creation point, but it was the perpetuation. And this is where personal accountability comes in. And I'm tired of having a conversation that is outside of personal accountability, because when it's all said and done, all solutions exist in personal accountability. It changes when a decision is made in the individual, when the decision is made in the household, then the decision is made in the neighborhood, the decision is made in the community. That's how change systematically works. How do you gain more power within a quote unquote given society? An individual makes a different decision. I am going to stand for something different. I am going to move different. And this is for good or for bad, right? Some people will become more criminal. They say, okay, we're going to organize ourselves in this criminality. And then that becomes a system that they create, or a process that they create, and they pass down generationally. There used to be a generation of black folk in America who would be embarrassed to be on welfare. It was a shame and a stain upon your people to be reliant upon another, let alone the government, as opposed to being able to do for self and, create something and having the pride, especially as a man, to have the pride to build something. But now, because it has been an accepted culture of welfare, it has been generation upon generation of this, yeah, I guess you could say the systemic belief system, the systemic acceptance, right? Notice I haven't talked about white supremacy, etc., because that's not the actual issue we're dealing with here. That's a scapegoat that's used in order not to look at self. Once you have to look at the community and its culture, then that points directly to self to say, wait, okay, so if I'm a part of this, then what am I doing? Or if I'm enabling this, because that could just be as bad. Maybe you're not feeling the effects necessarily, or not in the same way, but you're still allowing that to perpetuate. When you defend it, I see people who call me every damn name in the book, right? From a certain critter that hops up in your trash can at nighttime, one of them with the beady eyes. They call me everything from that to an Uncle Tom to, a white supremacist and everything in between. So for me, I say that's interesting because my message is very, very clear, cut dry. Is how do we change? How do we transform? How do we make better decisions? How do we change our belief systems and then our actions in order to get the results that we want? Right? So they call me a sellout, but then Future is a god to them. Lil Durk is free Lil Durk, right? There's no free Aquarius. No, there's no free him. There's no free Thomas Sowell. No. We're sellouts, remember? The ones who are pushing a message that, hey, look, we can do something different. We can move different. We can think different. We can act different. I promise y'all, if we just, you a sellout. You the problem. Oh, we're the problem. Not the ones who are pushing STDs like it's something to do. Not them. No. Not the ones who, are pushing the 304 culture to our 10, 11, 12-year-old daughters. No. Not them. They're not the problem, right? No. No, we coddle them. We babysit them. We make sure, please don't offend them. Please don't target them. We must accept and love them for who they are and where they are. Oh, the criminals? No. We must coddle them. They are our children. Oh, but us. Oh, be a black conservative and see how much love and reverence and respect. How many people are talking about free you if you were to be incarcerated? Free you. They will sooner say it for an individual who is literally unaliving their own brothers, cousins, sisters, mamas. Free that person. But that's the culture of degeneracy I'm speaking of. That's the one that is allowed for a sexy red. I don't feel bad for a sexy red. That is a demonic entity that has made a decision to move through this life in a certain way, in that way. Why would I feel a sense of sympathy for one who has made a personal decision to live like that? Because we are all making decisions. You might think somebody else is less able to make a choice than you are. This is coming from a dude who lost 3 of his best friends to ODs, right? 3 of them. I'm talking about out of 5 of us, 3 of them OD'd. There's only 2 of us left, and the other one is in and out of jail right now. I saw time and time again, one chance after the other, one warning after the other, incessantly. I saw it in real time because I was one of them. I was right there with them. And if I didn't make the decision I made at 19 years old, September 1st, 2015, I believe, at 19 years old, if I didn't make that decision, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. I was in the very same mess, but I had to do something different and I had to think different and I had to make decisions that were more difficult because I knew it was destroying me, but I knew what was going to be harder than even getting off the chemical dependency was leaving behind this identity, this lifestyle. Like, who am I outside of this? That was equally, if not more difficult. And so that took some years, right? Getting off the dope, that was like this because I saw how I was degrading, degenerating. I saw myself in a very, very different lens, etc. I saw I wasn't becoming the person I actually thought I was, etc. But when it came to leaving behind those people, that was the hardest part. And I noticed this. With so many folks who want that change, but you are so attached to these individuals. You feel you're a people pleaser, really. You're kind of codependent, if I was really to get down to it. Like you kind of are trauma bonded to a lot of these people. And you think it's your job to pull this person out of the very carnage that they're creating themselves. The sexy reds are creating their own. The Pooh Shiesties, these people, they have chosen their path. Lil Durk doesn't need to be freed if he is not an innocent man. He needs to be where the consequences lay. Simple. If I had ended up locked up and that was my journey, so be it. I did the crime, I deserved the time. But instead, like California, the state that was once a beautiful state that I grew up in, oh no, no. Criminals, no. They're just, they had a hard life. Let them go. So then you encourage the very same criminal nature. Somebody dropped a bar that I just passed by in my comments one day. What they say? They said, it was too good. They said that what one generation accepts, the next will promote or endorse. I said, damn, that's a bar. What one generation accepts, the next one is going to promote. The next one is going to normalize. And that's where we find ourselves. And it's not until we start to shame it again, we start to make it taboo again, we stop coddling and enabling again, that we're going to see any sort of change. Until then, mark my words, things will get significantly worse, and there is going to be an absolute exodus and abandonment of all of those things. There already has been. I speak to those who can be saved. It's like the old quote. They say it wasn't Harriet Tubman, but I still kind of see her in my head when I say it, right? I freed 1,000 slaves, and I could have freed 1,000 more if they knew they were slaves. That's why I'm at with it. It's like, look, I may have the potential to spark the change in 1,000 y'all, but there's 1,000 more who are content in their slavery, and I can't do nothing about that. You got to stay on the damn plantation. That democratic plantation may be a comfortable place for you, even though it is destroying you, but that's your choice. But as far as these babies, these kids that we're raising up, we got to do something different, folks. We can't expose them to that. We can't normalize that. We can't okay that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We got to stop blaming, finger pointing. Oh, it's the record labels or the record labels. The record labels wouldn't have a damn artist if there wasn't an artist to be had. Simple.
I used to be afraid of the dark, a place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 365, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising. They see your light shine,